Alright guys, here's an early Christmas present, a video lesson on how to add and subtract mixed numbers. Alright, so that's our learning target. I can add and subtract mixed numbers. So our vocabulary is mixed number. A mixed number is a number made of a whole number and a fraction. 1.5 is a mixed number because there's a whole number and there's a fraction. 2 2/3, another example, whole number, fraction. Okay? That's your first vocabulary word. Your second one, improper fraction. It's a fraction that's more than one whole. Its numerator is larger than the denominator. That's how you can recognize it. So 3/2 is more than one whole because 2/2 equals one whole. 3/2 is more than a whole, and that is why the numerator, the top number, is bigger than the denominator because it's more than 2/2. It's 3/2. 8/3 is also an improper fraction. It's more than one whole, so the numerator is bigger than the denominator. This one, by the way, is actually more than 2 whole because 8/3 is 3/3 plus another 3/3, that makes 6/3, plus 2 more thirds, that would make 8/3. So that is actually 1 plus 1 plus 2/3. That is 2 2/3. Alright, so in this lesson you're going to need to be able to turn mixed numbers to improper fractions and improper fractions back into mixed numbers. That's going to be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to take 1.5 and show you how to turn it into an improper fraction. You multiply the whole number, the 1, times the denominator, and then you add the numerator and you keep the same denominator. So let's take a look at it. So 1 times 2, and I'm looking right here, 1 times 2 is 2, plus the numerator plus 1 is 3, and that's how you get 3/2. Let's look at 2 2/3. I already showed you another way right here, but if you multiply 2 times 3, that's 6, plus 2 more makes 8/3. So that's how you turn those into improper fractions. You can turn them back. So if I wanted to turn 3/2 back into a mixed number, you can turn them back by dividing. 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 once. That's 2. Subtract, and you get a remainder of 1. You put the 1 over what you divided by. So that's how you turn 3/2 back into a mixed number. 8/3, same thing. Let's look over here. We would do 8 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 twice. That is 6. Subtract, and your remainder goes over what you divided by. 2/3. Don't worry about it if you're having a little bit of trouble with changing these back and forth. We're going to practice that more. Alright, so let's get into our steps. To add or subtract mixed numbers, there are 2 methods. So let's start by looking at method 1. First, you're going to make sure the denominators are the same. In all the problems you're doing today, the denominators will be the same, so don't worry about that too much. Just know that when you're adding or subtracting any kind of fractions, the denominators need to be the same. Okay, so check this out. I was testing you on this. I didn't change my steps. Step 2, turn each mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay, we talked about that up above. And then step 3, I was testing you again to see if you noticed that. Add or subtract the numerator and keep the same denominator. Okay, so let's practice that method. Put this example in your notes. put this example into your notes under the examples section. Okay, so we are going to start with step number 1. Make sure the denominators are the same. Well, they are. You can see both denominators are 8. Step number 2. We're going to turn each mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay? So I'm going to multiply 1 times 8, that's 8, plus the 1, that's 9. So we get 9/8. Plus 2 and 4/8, we're going to go 2 times 8 is 16, plus 4 is 20, so that's 20/8. And now I'm just going to do step 3 and add or subtract the numerator. In this case we're adding. We're going to add the numerator and we're going to keep the denominator. So 9 plus 20 is 29. 8 plus 8, we don't add the denominator, we just keep it. So it's eighths. 29/8 is my answer. This is my answer if I want an improper fraction. If I want a mixed number, I would have to turn it back into a mixed number by dividing. 29 divided by 8. 8 goes into 29 3 times. That's 24. And when I subtract, I get a 5. And I put the remainder over what I divided by. Okay, so that's one method. I don't like that method as much as I do method 2. Method 2. Make sure the denominators are the same, just like before. Add or subtract the whole numbers, and then add or subtract the fractions. This one's easier, I think. So, 1 1/8 plus 2 4/8. The denominators are the same. I already checked that. Now, add or subtract the whole numbers. So what's 1 plus 2? Correct, it's 3. And now we're going to do step 3, add or subtract the fractions. So what's 1/8 plus 4/8? That's 5/8. So in this case that's easier, I think. Alright, so you're ready to do a quick check. Go ahead and add those up. Use either method. Add 2 1/6 plus 3 4/6, and then be ready to move on to do your 10 marks.